Hey y'all, so I am so excited to finally share the back patio. Today is Saturday, November 4th, and the patio actually got completed yesterday. They left after it was dark, so we tidied a few things up, but I wasn't able to shoot this video yesterday. So I will show you the patio, and Tommy is actually going to grab some things really quick. He's gonna get the grass mowed today. So we're gonna get everything put back together today, but I wanted to show you the patio before everything, the patio furniture, the rug, and all of that stuff got put back on it. It's really, really pretty, and we are so happy with it. They did such an amazing job. It's exactly what I was going for. I will turn around though, and I will tell you why we did certain things and why we did edging where we did and all of those things, just because there's some things that I think that are very specific to your backyard if you are re-landscaping it. There were some elevation challenges that we had here from the previous fence and things like that, so I'll share those with you. But I'm also excited to soon share the front yard. So the front yard is done, completed, with the exception of a couple perennials that I still haven't been able to find. Hopefully I'll be able to find those sooner than later, but I will be filming a complete front yard tour soon. And then a lot of people have also asked about the kitchen, and I really just wanted to get everything buttoned up with the front and the kitchen before I put out a video, because I didn't want to keep putting out videos that was like, okay, we got this done, but we still have X, Y, and Z to do. So the kitchen is 99.9% done, and so that video will be also coming out soon. And so the next 2 or 3 videos that you guys see are going to be major check completions off our list, and we are finally getting to the point where we can enjoy it back here. We actually were talking about earlier getting the patio furniture put back on and being able to sit out here this evening and have a cocktail and really start to enjoy our backyard. It's starting to become a lot more us, so we are very excited. Let me turn around and I'll show you the completed patio. Okay, so here is a look at the patio. This is the, don't mind the trash cans. I will get to what we are going to do with those here shortly in this video. But you come around this corner right here and you can see that this boulder and this edging is here, and this edging along the side of the tree. There's also, the patio furniture is actually in the way over here, but there is edging over there as well. So the challenge that we had with this was, honestly, I really didn't want edging right here. But for those of you that have followed along for quite a while, there used to be a fence that went all along this driveway that you see there. So it was completely closed off, and when we removed the fence, there was elevation there. And so short of starting to take out some tree roots and things like that, we had to do something to keep everything from washing out in the driveway, because that fence has been gone basically since we moved in. That's one of the first things that we actually did. And so the dirt just kept washing out into the driveway every time it would rain, and it was just a huge pain. So that edging got put in. Again, it's the corten steel edging. It will rust over time. It will turn kind of this rusty color, and it will blend really well with the patio. So this situation here, so many people have said, you need to hide those trash cans. The trash cans are ugly. And I totally agree. We have to get all of this stuff cleaned out today. This is on our list, and you can see here that there's a void right there. We actually had this concrete cut a little bit more straight, and you might think this looks funky right here. Well, that was the line of the original concrete. So we are going to fill this gap in here along this side where you see this void. We will be filling that with dirt, and we will be putting some more of the pea gravel that is in between the pavers in, and then we're gonna be re-concreting the section right here. So that is the scoop on that. And then we will also, you can see over here, all of this brick. So this is just the brick that was taken out of kind of random spots in this area, and over there where our fire pit used to be, and some from the front as well. And we still actually have some more back behind the garage, and we are going to use that. We saved all of that because we're going to use that to create a wall. And a lot of that over there in that pile is original brick. So we're going to use all the original brick to create a wall to hide the trash cans. And then we will just push the trash cans in that same direction. You see the stuff back there will be moved, and it will be 1, 2, 3. They'll be all stacked. There will be nothing on top so that we can easily get to the lids. Not ideal to have to pull each trash can in and out one by one. However, we do live in a historic house with a very narrow 1-car 1930s driveway. So those are just some of the concessions that you have to make when you live in an old house. We'll line them all up and then we'll pull them out one by one on trash day. Happens once a week, obviously. So really it's not that big of a hassle. Next thing, so you'll see right here that this is not finished. I will be planting just a bunch of ferns there. And so I wanted that void left there so that I could plant ferns around that area. What else? So these columns, the lions are not going to stay on those columns. We debated on removing this column right here. However, to my knowledge, these are original to the house. So I didn't want to remove them. And then as I got to thinking about it, I was like, well, you know what? It gives me the opportunity to put some pots on top of there and put some plants in them. So I think we will be doing that for that section right there. Moving over here, I wanted a live edge, just kind of a rough edge around these trees. Again, I will be planting here. So I didn't want any edging. I didn't want any more edging than we had to have here. So this is what I came up with. And again, probably be planting a lot of ferns there. Ferns are my favorite. We did leave this fireplace right here. We've actually used it a couple times and Tommy really loves it. So that stayed. I don't think that that's original to the house. I think that was put in by the previous owners, but we've used it a couple times and we really like it. So you can see there's still an Andina there. There was a little bit of miscommunication. That Andina was supposed to come out and there was supposed to be a stone right there so that this opening flared out a little bit more, but not that big of a deal. We can obviously get a stone and then just place it there. This section over here, again, kind of a live stone edge, not a perfect edge. We will be planting there as well. And this over here, was not expecting to actually have this much more planting space over here. So I've got some reworking to do all for this stuff. All of the major planting and the major landscaping back here is going to happen in the spring. We've just run out of time. It's just too late. So I am actually very excited about that. Tommy said, thanks, Alex, you gave her more room to put plants. So anyway, I never turned down an opportunity to have more space to plant. So this is what the patio looks like. We are so happy with it. I mean, I didn't expect it to turn out this good, to be honest with you. I think it looks really, really good. And I asked Alex to get some really large stones. I wanted a bunch of large stones mixed in with some smaller ones because I didn't want it to be just a ton of little small stones. I wanted it to be mixed and matched. And so this is kind of what we came up with. And actually the really large, it's probably hard to tell in this video how large some of these stones actually are, but we had some trouble finding a lot of pallets of large stone. So overall, I think the end result turned out really well. You might also notice the pea gravel, and some people might say, I thought you were trying to get rid of the pea gravel. And yes, we are trying to get rid of the pea gravel. The previous patio here had just kind of sunk over time. I mean, that's just kind of what happens with this flagstone, and this will settle a little bit too, but they had sunk over time, and a lot of the pea gravel was actually kind of, it ended up on top of the stones, and it would get stuck in our dog's paws, and it would get stuck in our own shoes. We were constantly just tracking it in, and our dogs had gotten it out of their paws and left it in random places in the house. And so we decided to go with the pea gravel in between the stones. We didn't want to mortar anything because, as you know, we have a ton of trees back here, and I still wanted the water to be able to seep through the pea gravel and into the soil so that the trees will still get the amount of water that they're used to getting. And so that was very important to me, because we had talked about mortaring all of this in, but we just decided that this was the best route, and I think it definitely is. If we mortared all of this and the water never got through these stones and to the tree roots, because I'm sure there's tree roots that just stretch all throughout this back patio area, then the trees would probably struggle in the heat of the summer. And I can still just put one of my little watering things here, and all the water will travel through the stones and down underneath, so I'll be able to water the trees when they do need it if we have a lack of rainfall. So yeah, that is a look for the new patio. We had some plumbing situation right here. So this is where our washout is for our house, and you can kind of see here that that edge of that stone is cut out. So I wanted a really large stone here because this is to our back door, as you can see, and this is where we're going to place the firewood, because that is where the fireplace is. And so I wanted a very large stone there so that we could just step out off the last step onto that stone, but the plumbing washout is right there. So we had Alex cut that little section out so that if, God forbid, we need that, but if we did, we could get to it in a hurry, pull that small piece of that large stone off and get it taken care of. This is all a mess, and it needs to be leveled and things need to be put in place, but Alex made us these wood racks, so those will go on each side of that pole. And this is kind of a look at the live edge over here on this tree. I will obviously be planting there as well. And then here's a look at the grass. It really needs to be mowed. Some of the leaves need to be swept up a little bit, but this is the stone pathway that we put in, and I'm really happy with that. I like the look of the taller grass where these stones look like they have been here for quite some time. So let me go back here and I will show you a look at the patio from this direction. This is all, I started to tidy this up last night. Ignore that, it's another wood rack for my in-laws that Alex made. But over time, probably in the spring, we're gonna have Alex relay all of this flagstone because it's just settled and the dirt and everything gets on top of it. Same for, ignore my mess, but same for over here in this general area. This tree right here, our neighbor's tree, sheds all year long, and it just gets all of the cedar shedding all over the place all the time. So we want to raise the stones up so that we'll easily be able to blow everything off and get everything leveled. And then, so you can see here that there is a brick liner, and you can't even see the flagstone because dirt has just washed over it. So we'll be getting that redone. And again, we're making 2 more of these raised beds. This was the standard holly that was over in the main flower beds in the backyard. We moved it over here. So these brick also will probably be being removed, and we'll replace those with flagstones at some point, and we'll be using those bricks for the brick wall for the trash cans. But this is a look. I'm just so happy with it. The patio is just so much more us, so much more our style, so much more functional for how we spend our outside time. And it would be fantastic for entertaining as well. You could set up some high tables, 5 or 6 of them out here. It's a very large patio, and people could just mingle and talk. And so anyway, I'm just very happy with it. So what we're gonna do, Tommy just got here, we're gonna get everything cleaned up. We've got just a whole bunch of stuff on our list to get tidied up and done today. It's a beautiful day outside, so we are going to start getting it all tidied up. We're gonna get the furniture and everything put back in place, and then I'll show you all a look at what it looks like with the pots placed and the furniture all set. So I'll catch you guys here in a little bit. Okay, so we got a lot done today, and this is the final look back here, at least until spring. So I'm trying to decide if I want to plant some carrots there. I do like the lime green back here with the dark fence, and I would like to add some pops of lime green probably over here, just honestly everywhere. So I didn't get those planted yet because I am a few short and I'll need to get a few more, but this is the patio furniture in place. So many people always say, why don't you turn your patio furniture around to see that section of the yard? And I totally understand what you're saying. However, we don't want to close this off either. And so this is the best of both worlds for us because Tommy always sits right there and I sit right there in the corner. So we can see this. We can also see the dogs when they go out to the yard. Not to say that we can't swap it around just like any other furniture, but for now we just really like it like this. It just really works for us. So over here, the fire pit's just kind of there in place. We haven't put the chairs back yet. I'm not even sure if that's where that will go permanently or not. We got some hydrangeas planted and they look a little bit rough because they were the ones that were mounded up that used to be right here on the other side of that tree. And so I'll show you where we planted some of the other ones. There were quite a few. We did get, so this is a really tight spot back here. We need to get some of this stuff painted, but this is a really tight spot behind the chimney and in between the fence, and it just stays fairly damp. So we added the rock there. You can also see that we put the firewood holders that Alex made us right there. I'm not sure if these statues will stay right there. We've just had a really long day out here and we just we're trying to get stuff off the patio. So the standard juniper right here, we did put it there. I'm not sure if that's even gonna make it. When they dug that up, the root system wasn't very extensive, but it has been in a pot since we started ripping up the backyard, and it still does look like that. I trimmed on it a little bit today in hopes that it won't try to produce any new growth and kind of focus on root production. Here's some more carrots. This is all going to be coming up. Alex and his crew left it. They weren't sure if I wanted it, so they left it, but I think the pops of lime green look pretty good. Here is the yard that Tommy finally got to mow today, and it still obviously needs to thicken up quite a bit, but this is, how long has the grass been in, Tommy?
2 weeks.
A couple weeks, so it looks pretty good for a couple weeks growth. Over here, same situation, haven't planted much. I will be planting so much more over here because now that we have the patio furniture out of the way, you can see what we did with that piece of edging right there to kind of really open up that walkway. And then I have all of this to plant over here. So this is the walkway. So we use this pathway all the time for when we're in the garage and kind of going out to this back section of the yard. I wanted to switch it up a little bit and just make it continuous grass instead of putting pea gravel in between the stones. I really like the way the grass looks with the stones kind of grown into it, and so I wanted to just continue that. And then most of you know, if you watch the videos, that those hollies were put in. I'm gonna wait till next spring to trim them up to the exact size that I want them. We got some of the big wisteria roots pulled up today. That was quite a job. And then the oak leaf hydrangeas are doing pretty well. We'll see how they look come springtime, but the grass is just so nice, and the open space, we just really like it. It's just so much more us, and it gives our dogs were out here all day today while we were planting and kind of getting some of this dirt over here leveled out. We still need to get our landscape lighting put in back here. We haven't done that yet, but the wire is run for that so far. But our dogs were out here and they were just laying on the grass. So Richard was in the sun, and our golden Deuce, he was in the shade. He had some cool grass on his belly and he was loving it. They are exhausted, and that is why we decided to go with grass, because our dogs really love it, as do we. And then over here, so this is a mess of hydrangeas, really, from, again, that what used to be over here. And I'm not sure if those will stay there, but we needed to get them in the ground before it started getting too cold, and they may end up being moved again. I'm really not sure. I still haven't found the blue spruces that I want for back here. We're gonna do 3 of them, so we'll kind of see how that all comes together this next spring when I do find those. And then we need some more backfill dirt over here. This is kind of a low spot, but overall I think it's looking pretty good. And again, we need quite a bit of dirt there as well. We will be doing a brick border and continuing this brick to match there, and then having that border so the rock's not constantly falling into the grass. But I didn't put any of my pots in place other than these over here, because we really need some more dirt before we get to that point. And I didn't get anything done back here other than I really need to get this fuzzy wuzzy lamb's ear in the ground. That was on my list of to-dos today, but we really got a lot of stuff done and didn't quite make it to everything. So these are the Lavender Perfection dahlia tubers. I am getting ready to kind of brush this dirt off, really let them dry out, and I'm going to divide them for next spring. I will have so many more dahlias come next spring. I didn't have much space, and I really honestly hadn't planned it out too well as far as these 6 beds that we had back here. These are some perennials, some feverfew and some veronica that we dug up and I just kind of placed there for now. But we have so much more space coming this spring because we're gonna have 2 more beds, and I may do like a small bed, a little square bed over there in that corner. I'm not quite sure yet, but there'll be a lot more dahlias come springtime. So I'm gonna get that dirt cleaned off of those and get those in some burlap and get them stored. But here is a look from the back looking at the patio. So you can see some of the lines here. We didn't really want straight lines. We kind of wanted it to be fun and funky. Our other backyard was straighter lines than this, and we decided to go a little bit more curvy. This over here is a pretty curve, I think. Something that we have to consider when we are doing this edging is what is easier for Tommy to mow. We don't really want 90-degree turns because it's just a little bit more difficult. And so, yeah, that is honestly what we have so far. I have a lot of plants that are in here, fiddle leaf and things like that. You might have noticed that a lot of the plants from the porch area had been removed, and that's because we got some freezing weather last week. And so those will just kind of be in and out as far as the weather goes. I'll probably, when it's nice, just place them out here because it's just quite a bit easier to move in and out and just leave them there. This winter, one of our projects is to get those newer boxes painted. We did have to get a new control box when we redid the sprinkler systems. There wasn't enough zones on the previous one, so we'll get that painted as well, get everything all matched up. But this is what we're working with right now. This is about what it's going to look like until next spring, and I get all of this landscaped. We just ran out of time with the weather, and like I said, the patio just got finished, and so they had been working back here for a couple weeks straight, and I just didn't have time with work, and fourth quarter for me at work is the busiest time of the year, and so I just really didn't have time to go think about what I wanted, go get the plants, or have Alex go get the plants and get them all in the ground. What would have happened is they would have just been sitting around in the driveway, and we would have had to water them all winter, and they would be at risk in their nursery containers with the freezing weather. So anyways, that is all that I have for this video. As Tucker's clawing on the tree, he doesn't have front claws, so he's not gonna hurt anything, but he's a goof. But that is all I have. Thank you guys so much for watching. I would so appreciate it if you would like and subscribe, and we will catch you in the next video. Bye.